Hello and welcome. This is going to be a Runner Hub game, Bleeding Hearts Part 2. I don't think I recorded Bleeding Hearts Part 1 because I am a bad person. However, I'm joined by a couple of players as they are invited to meet a Johnson at the Dusty Trail, a Western-themed bar in Touristville. As it is a Western-themed bar, the meet time is obviously set for high noon, so going left to right we're gonna introduce our players here, and they're gonna give a brief description, and then, well, how are you guys getting to the meet? What are you wearing, and all of that other happy horse shit. First up is Monday, played by Cat9, who maybe be muted. Awkward start. Cat. Rolling right on by. Let's go with Reaper.
Oh, see, that was the physical mute that went to the Skype mute. Screw that noise, but go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Monday's coming in from downtown. She is dressed in her argentum coat, which is a light gray, and her black Berwick dress. She is a human. She is blonde hair, blue eyes. She's kind of bland. She blends in anywhere. She looks like she could be any college student. And she is 18, 1.65 meters, and 49 kilograms of whatever she happens to be that day. So, and that's Monday.
Excellent. Reaper.
Okay, so Reaper is average height, builds not very strong, not very tough, but he's somewhat graceful. He's in his early 20s, lightly augmented, nothing too obvious, but some like cyber eyes and cyber ears. He's kind of flashy because he's wearing his gang colors, which is the reality hackers. So he's wearing chrome and gold, maybe a leather jacket with that color or something like that. And he's coming from Puyallup on his bike, racing bike. That's it.
And then Tizit.
Tizit is coming from downtown on his bike as well. He actually kind of stands out a little bit, not because he's an orc, but not because he is imposing, but because he is quite scrawny when compared to your average orc. He has an impeccably kept crew cut, and he is slowly becoming known as the Taser Orc.
That would be most unfortunate for him. And then finally, Register.
Register's average height, average build after cyber enhancement. He was kind of scrawny to begin with. Good-looking dude wearing like leather jacket, blue jeans, and some trainers. It's armor clothing by the stats. Just equipped with a taser and broadcasting illegal sin with what's the word? Licenses for all that stuff because it's a legal weapon. And he's driving a Dodge Scoot, and he's really embarrassed about it. And that's why he's on this run, because he needs some money to buy something decent again.
As you are driving a Dodge Scoot and already feel embarrassed about it, we will only continue to point out the fact that you're driving a Dodge Scoot.
No, please, just rub it in. Twist the knife.
Yep, it's
Hey,
what we're
the
here
Dodge
to
Scoot is just as fast as an Americar. It might not go as fast acceleration, but it can keep up.
It doesn't have a smuggling compartment for anything important. That's a huge problem.
That's the downside.
Once it begins its putting, and it needs a little bit to get up to you. So was everybody arriving more or less on time, or was somebody want to get there a little early, or show up fashionably late, or anything along that?
For a meet, registers I get there a little early kind of guy, maybe like 10 minutes, 15.
Sure. Going inside or just scouting the outside?
Waiting to see if anyone else shows up that looks like they're a runner, more or less, from the outside. He's kind of new to the shadows as far as it goes. I mean, he used to be a small-time single guy, in and out, steal what he wants, criminal. So the whole meet thing makes him a little nervous.
Got to get to those big leagues.
That's the idea, yeah.
Excellent.
All right, so let's see. Monday is going to show up about 5 minutes early. She's not in any rush. I imagine it's because she got the notification a little bit later than everybody else and had to rush to get her makeup on and
Yep.
head out the door, such as it were.
Your chair
So
is
she's
super
only gonna be there
squeaky.
Yeah, I know. If you want to buy me another one, it's cool. So yeah, so she'll be there about 5 minutes early.
Sure.
Reaper will try to be there 15 minutes early. Look around the place, maybe.
Sure. Those of you who want to give it a quick look as you're being various levels of inconspicuous, you can go ahead and throw perception tests. I don't actually see it saying anybody's typing, so that makes me really worried.
Perception test?
Yeah.
Just double checking what I roll for perception.
Visual?
You could try and taste the surroundings, but I don't recommend it.
I was curious because I get more dice for that. So
Right.
Calm down. It's okay. Calm down.
I can't be calm.
I know. It's a failing, but it's alright. Wow. Way to go, dice.
Gotta get them out of the way first, then early.
Yeah. So yeah, look, I tried to find something I could oil to make my chair less squeaky, and there's not, so you'll have to cope.
Oh my god. That's a lot.
It's my highest dice pool by a lot.
Yeah, well, that's... Yeah, no, that's about right. So, looking at about the place, Reaper was getting there first about 15 minutes early. About 10 minutes, you'll see another person who looks kind of out of place, just as the outdoors of this area is kind of, let's call it artistic. It is made up to look like a old Western style bar from the outside. It's obviously being not exactly the most well kept as it is in a Touristville area. I don't know what part of Touristville because that's not important. But you'll see this other person who doesn't look like they fit the theme kind of show up and hang out, which is, for all intents and purposes, and the power of plot is Monday, even though you probably don't recognize or know her. Or no, she was 5 minutes early, wasn't she?
Yep, that's it.
Register, you will be the person that shows up then at 10 minutes, and you will notice that Monday shows up and is wearing some maybe a little bit intentionally disguised type things as opposed to showing up clean-faced and shaven, even though it is a female character.
Hope she doesn't need to shave.
Just figurative, whatever.
Right, yeah, it's a figure of speech, man.
I'm with you.
But the people that you guys see coming in and out are very much dressed in duster, big hat, and some of them have physical spurs, some of them maybe have digital spurs. Bunch of motorcycles in the parking lot, that kind of thing.
Super embarrassing to park a Dodge Scoot next to everybody's motorcycle.
Well, to be fair, you have time to park a block or two away, and then so nobody sees you on the scoot.
It's very much on purpose, too.
Yeah. But if you guys don't have anything else you want to do outside, we can move along to the inside.
Yeah, let's roll in.
Yep.
Indeed.
You guys will roll in like the proverbial posse as the three of you start moving outside as the clock winds down to just about the time, and as you walk in, that, you know, classic bar tune from the Westerns begins to kind of play lightly in the background as an AR type thing, and you can easily silence if you don't wish the atmosphere. Everybody in here is dressed in stereotypical cowboy getup. It's a little cliche, but you know, this is Touristville where people will go and find somebody to mug them so they can make, hey, look, I got mugged in Touristville. To kind of get down to the grassroots of the lower class of people from the nice corporate backgrounds. They all do the thing of turning to look at whoever is walking in the door, because that is what always happens in the Westerns, and you guys look horribly out of place because nobody even has a big hat on.
I already want to award the GM karma for setting the scene. This is great.
Afraid I'm not cotton.
Right? God would get fit right in here. But what do you guys want to do as you come in?
Tizit's going to tip his non-existent hat and walk straight to the bar and order, say, barkeep, I want a whiskey.
He's gonna throw you a giant smile because you clearly are know how things go in the Old West. Do you actually have any alcohol-related knowledge?
No, I do not.
Okay. So he's gonna stop cleaning the glass with his spinning cyber hand. Does the full 360 degrees. He will set that one down in front of you, pull a bottle that has some kind of booze in it. Hopefully it's whiskey. You're about to find out. And he will pour you one out. What can I do for you?
Tizit's going to down the glass all in one go.
It burns like, well, either good booze or engine degreaser.
Excellent.
And he's gonna stand there for a moment and, what do you want, stranger?
Register orders some of that good sarsaparilla and then wonders if the barkeep gets the joke.
He's gonna pour you a drink out of the same bottle that he poured Tizit.
Okay, good enough for a sip.
You're actually gonna sip it?
Just a sip. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, well, it burns. He gives you a bit of a side eye as you only sip the shot, but
Well, I'll finish it after that. Once it's clear it's not going to taste good.
and it will. Yeah, no, it's not exactly the best of things that you have consumed.
Does this place actually accept like credit through Comlink, or do we need script?
No, it can do a digital transfer at the very least to his comlink, but you guys all have a non-squatter lifestyle, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So a single drink isn't going to break the proverbial bank, but he's
Well,
still.
A hefty tip for this character because this is impressive.
Yeah, sure. Whatever
The
it is.
commitment here is worth respect.
But he's still kind of looking at you like you want another, or is there something else I can do for you?
I'm now trying to scan the room and see if there's anyone sitting by him or herself waiting at a large table or somewhere with
Sure.
extra seats. What
You
looks like the meat.
You can throw another perception test now that you guys are inside.
While he does that, Tizit's going to respond to the barkeep's original question, saying, "Well, I'm looking for a person. He seems to be looking for people."
See, this is why Monday's fixer arranges stuff for her like a fixer should. Is there somebody that has my my comm code gesturing me over?
There is a guy who is in the corner and is wearing a bigger hat. He seems kind of leaned back in his chair with his arms crossed in a very uncowboy-like fashion, and is kind of looking you guys over while most of the other people have gone back to their, AR card games or the whatever it is they're drinking that they are going on in there. He's kind of watching, seeing how this unfolds. Reaper, you will totally notice him, as will Register. He's well dressed, but is wearing the hat that kind of screams Cass, but it looks like he might have a little bit of Asian features to him.
So Reaper, having no idea how to act in that bar, he's gonna probably look up to Tizit or Register and emulate whatever they do. So he's gonna walk up to the bar and order some whiskey, but if he tries to down it, he's just gonna spit it out because he's not very good at it. It's kind of a lightweight, but he's gonna try and look tough about it.
Yep, he will totally give you a drink of the same bottle. He will pour a second one and put it in front of Tizit as well.
Out of curiosity, is Monday the only one that is physically average for her metatype?
Register is for sure.
Okay, I was worried a minute there. I was like, wow, I don't want to be the muscle with the strength of 3.
Well, to be fair, who says you need to be the muscle and have high strength? You don't necessarily need to punch all your problems.
But that solves so many problems.
Sure does, especially if, a Western-style bar fight were to break out.
Well, once I've identified this individual, I'm going to leave the bar and kind of make a head nod to these other folks who seem like they all came in for the same reason. And head toward what looks like Johnson.
The bartender is going to slide that second glass towards Tizzit and say, man in the corner was looking for a posse. If you,
Tizzit's going to pick up the glass
Is it a comitatus?
and salute the man with it, the bartender with it, and start heading over.
Sure. So the guy that you see in front of you is in a very nice suit. He's got a not bigger than most of the rest of the people size cowboy hat. He has the slight Asian features about him, and he kind of uncrosses his eyes with a smile on his face as he sees the four of you approaching. As you come closer, he will kind of motion for you all to sit. And what would you guys like to do in this?
I'm going to slide into a seat.
Take a seat.
Sit down.
Try to keep as many of these extras between me and the potential bullets. I'm good to go.
It's probably not a bad idea. So as you sit down and he begins to speak, it's not with the Cass accent that you may have come to expect given the outfit and the location. It's with a very clear, distinct English of a band that has maybe practiced a lot to lose an accent, or maybe just has had a lot of professional voice training, either, song or stories or, trid, whatever. Something along those lines. It's kind of hard to nail down. Very good. I see that you are the contractors that I am to hire for this job. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Head
As
nod.
far as I know.
Excellent. This should be a fairly easy job. I have a list. It will have 5 names on it. I need you guys to find those folks. And when you do, I have, and then he'll kind of reach over and pull up a briefcase. I have something in here for each one of them. And then, depending upon how that goes, well, there may be further instructions for you for each one that might differ.
Has he opened the briefcase yet?
He has not opened the briefcase.
I'm going to gesture toward that. Could we have any idea now what's waiting for those 5?
Oh, yes. And he'll click, dramatically flip it open and spin it around. And inside are 5, what's the rating for comlinks? So I forget off the top of my head.
The ones that are called rating for comlinks.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Right?
Everything I can? I don't know.
That's
Horizon.
5.
Apparently
I was
Horizon.
close.
Apparently Horizon doesn't make a. Let's
Verizon
go.
doesn't make a comlink, I don't believe.
Nah, not according to what's entered in Hero Lab. The FTL quarks. Because
Well, those are good ones. That little spaceman spiff persona.
each of these comlinks is going to have a singular number on it. That number will put the person that you give them to in contact with me. There is also, and he'll kind of shift the, like, that top pocket part of briefcases. He'll pull that open and pull it out, and there's a biometric reader in there. This will be to confirm their identities with the information that I have on home to confirm that they are the person they are indeed supposed to go to. There was a bit of, let's call it, contract situations that need to be sorted out. And while this is something that I could potentially do myself, I would rather not get my face seen for where most of these people probably have gotten off to. And most of the ing and stuff in there, he totally doesn't do. That is totally me being terrible. But, he is a well-spoken and practiced individual.
Got it. I'll ask another question. Do they know that you're coming? Do they imagine you'll be coming? Will they be unhappy if you or your representative shows up?
He will give you a broad smile and kind of push his hat up as people from the cast are wont to do, or people who wear big hats that kind of, fall forward a little bit. They probably don't know that somebody is coming. It is one of those situations where the taxman comes for everyone, and there is some paperwork that needs to be cleaned up, and that is what you folks will be doing. However, as we suspect, these folks have disappeared into the shadows. Well, sometimes people aren't always happy with their employer. As such, you are not the first team I have hired to do various bits of work, and as such, there may be people who wish to either come at me or my affiliates, we will call them. As such, I do not wish to put myself in the direct line of fire.
Well, if the details on their identity are in the package you're handing us, this seems pretty cut and dry.
And how much is the compensation be for this job?
I'm looking somewhere in the area of 7,000 per person you manage to get a hold of. That will include, of course, any extra instructions that are to come down the line when you have met with these people.
What are the extra instructions likely to be?
That really depends upon the conversation that I will have with the people we are to find. It could be as simple as give them a ride to a drop-off location. It could be as complex as shoot them in the head.
Sounds very complex.
Especially for 7,000 each.
That is a potential 35 if you find all 5.
Ending lives tends to be a little more expensive.
Depends on if we gotta hide the bodies too. Monday shrugs. Out of character. Not a negotiator. If somebody else is, cool. If they're not, I can be.
I mean, I can throw like 11 dice at it.
That's more than I can.
It does seem like a little lowball for potentially killing 5 people. So yeah, I think the negotiation might be worth it.
There's a taser orc who may be muted. Have tried them in saying something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was muted.
Shocking.
The taser orc, Tizit can also, out of character, throw the 11 dice, so it's not a big difference in that regard. But yes.
If he had things that he was wanting to ask questions of and such, that would also be helpful.
Yeah, the initial questions were pretty much along the lines of what he was going to ask. He does want to know what the likelihood of the complex action would be. Is that expected more likely than the simple taxi ride?
It's kind of complicated. There is always some people who are not welcome to. I'm sorry, not welcome. Not wanting to come back into the family fold. As such, dependent upon how those folks left the fold, well, that will determine whether or not they need to be given a final gift or if they can just be left alone.
Well, it is up to the smooth negotiators at this point.
Yeah, lethal Shadowrun is something that registers new and fairly uncomfortable with. So yeah, if anything, if no one else was going to speak up about more money, he definitely would do that, just because he wants to justify it in his own head.
Reaper also sent out a D&I request for the people here who are not Texan.
Yeah, should we handle that with text?
It's up to you guys. If you
I don't read a whole lot of text, so we could just say it through D&I. And it's better for stream.
Yeah,
I
sure.
guess.
So through DNI, gonna wait. Does everybody accept?
Yeah, accepted for sure.
Well, I'm accepting of the job, but I'd like more pay. Through DNI is what Monday will say.
I think 7,000 should be okay for just finding them, but if he requires wet work, we should ask a bonus for each.
Yes.
Okay, so assuming that we throw a number out and then it gets maybe haggled back down toward the middle, what do we ask for, like, an individual death? Like if it turns into a kill, is 20 or 25 closer?
I have
Uh,
no idea how.
12.
Is 12 the going rate?
What is the worth of a man?
I mean, if they're a jerk, maybe 12.
Or maybe 2,000 per kill.
All right, well, let's throw 12 as an offer.
Okay.
12 a kill, and then see if he bats it back down.
Yep.
And
See
I
some-
can roll.
Let's see some dice in some fashion. You guys can team
All
up
right.
or whatever it is you want.
I'll do it if no one else is into it.
I can assist. That's about the best I can do for you.
Yeah, I'd be able to assist as well.
I have a couple of dice too. But
All right.
literally.
This is you're making assist rolls here
Yes.
before I go.
You
I'm
can have
not
up to your maximum of your skill.
Well, if we're all assisting, it just sounds weird that we're just all negotiating with him.
that is a little strange.
Well, no,
Well-
it's basically we make our reservations. Like, for example, Monday says that she feels that 7,000, if it's potential wet work, is not really acceptable for her employer. Whereas somebody else is like, yeah, price of a man's a little bit more than that to me. And then finally, the actual person, gets
Starts
into
playing the hardball. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all very abstracted out into a pile of dice.
And this just raises the limit or raises my actual dice pool. I'm sorry.
So you will get one limit raise per person that assists, and then you will be able to get additional dice up to your skill, which, looking at your sheet, is a single Uno.
So assuming I'm using first impression and tailored pheromones, then I think I'm rolling 12 for this. Let me make sure.
So I see 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, sorry, it's 11. 11 dice, yeah.
Yep. And then you'll get an additional one from somebody for your singular skill point in negotiation.
Oh, I see. That's how that works. Okay. So 12 then.
Yep.
Oh, so he's only got one in negotiation?
Yeah. If you guys want to tweak it around somewhere, because I think Tizit has a...
If you have actual points to roll,
Yeah,
yeah.
he has
This has
actual...
5, but does not have first impression or pheromones.
Well, those will still go into Register's assist roll,
Right.
but
So
he can
then-
only keep a singular point of dice, where you can keep 5 points of dice, and you can totally would be able to re-roll that wonderful 11 into whatever your actual roll turns out to be.
All right. So then
Okay.
I do roll the 11 dice for the assist.
Yep.
Okay.
So now if you want to roll your 16. There we go.
Booyah.
Then I will so you guys will go back and forth a little bit, and we'll settle on the 7,000 per person with an extra 2 for any that you actually do have to shoot. He will of course cover any transportation fees if you have to get somebody a taxi to get them someplace. Some of the small incidentals he will also cover, as I double check. And if you want, you can totally keep the comlink after the job, because he won't need it anymore.
Seems good.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
And just as a heads up, because the last time when I ran Bleeding Hearts Part 1, it ended up turning into a 2-parter, so let's hope that doesn't happen tonight, but we will see. So he will slide the briefcase across to you guys. Attached to the, as a file on each of the comm links, you will find the list of people that he is after. And
Does anyone here, any of the runners, do we actually have a car with 4 seats? Because if not, we should probably talk to a fixer and borrow one for this run.
And there is the list.
Believe everybody is bicycle riders.
That's you guys.
Not voluntarily.
Gonna do Matrix search. Do I just Do I do one for each or one for all?
It depends on how much time you guys want to take to do said matrix searches. Like if
I
you
heard
want to just,
something about the list. There's the list, but is it in chat or what?
I put it in the
A Google
Roll20
Doc?
chat. I can put it in the Skype chat, and I
Okay, I
put it in
got
the
it.
Twitch chat.
I don't even have a Twitch link, but that's cool.
So I didn't
Yeah.
come loaded for a Redmond run, but we're already right here. Do we take a risk and go check out Charles Thomas, a dwarf?
Monday shrugs his shoulders. We could do that. Should
There
not be
is
much of a problem.
a little bit information more on each of the people in there, but I didn't want to write full life stories for these people. So if you guys have quick questions, I can totally add that stuff in if he would have the information. There are not pictures associated with them. It is only
Their com codes?
does not have their com codes. Being a Shadowrunner yourself that owns probably 4 different phones, you can see how that wouldn't be very helpful.
Depends if they want to be found or not.
This is true, but if they wanted to be found, this man would not be hiring people to find them.
Right. Okay, well, I have no problem with us going to check it out with him. We'll see how many dwarves there are. And is there like a general description of the guy?
There is a general description.
The other 4 don't have any location data. Does Johnson have any idea where they would be? Or are they just somewhere in the Metroplex?
We are fairly certain that they have disappeared into the Seattle shadows. As such, we got some natives to go looking for them, and he'll, mention to you guys. Charles Thomas was specifically working before he left the company. One thing to note is these people all are listed as having Horizon corporate sins,
Oh, okay, got it.
which now probably makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, definitely.
He was doing some outreach work to some of the, let's call it, not exactly well handled areas of Redmond. Might have run afoul of some gangs, but he was always a smooth talker.
Well, he could have been based in Touristville if he needed to do anything like Matrix related. So, hell, I'll go ask the bartender.
Sure. Does anybody else have any questions before we?
Not currently, no.
Do
We
have
get
their
his comp
sins
code.
too?
Yeah, you can get the Johnson's comp code. I'm sorry, what was another question?
You have their sins? Is that what I see on the list?
You have most of their sin information. It looks like, because like your sin would have a picture and that kind of stuff. It doesn't have pictures associated, and
Did he
some
give
of
us time on that? Sorry.
He would say within a week would be appreciated. It looks like some of the information has been intentionally obscured or deleted on their end, or somebody was trying to make these people disappear, but still has a fair bit of their information there.
I'm interested in the forcibly extracted note. In forcibly extracted from what?
So he was a sales representative. He was working on one of Horizon's big releases for this past Christmas. Prior to the Christmas rush, a Shadowrun team went in and took him out. They're not 100% sure where he ended up, but they do know the place that was hit. You have you would probably have 2 of the 4 runner names. Let's go with what was the other one? So 2 of the 4 runners, Barricade and Poison Lily. They don't know the other two that were involved, probably some nobodies that have recently gotten into the shadows.
But they did have, they had sins, right? You said?
They have Horizon corporate sins, the 5 people that you are looking for.
Okay, that's perfect.
As Kat's about to break down some previous edition shit on me that I'm not fully ready to deal with.
I'm gonna get you. It's all good.
So can I get pictures with a matrix search, maybe?
Yeah, you can do some searches, and we'll see how that goes, and you might be able to come up with some stuff.
I am going to see if I can get in contact with some of my fixers and get myself a cellular glove molder.
Yeah, I had the same kind of idea in mind. Like, I really only know one fixer, but if we have all these names, maybe they know.
Yeah,
Well,
you
maybe
guys
he
can
knows
start
where they might be.
rolling for whatever it is, Reaper, as you do some matrix searches. Are you just doing in general, or are you doing a singular person?
That's what I was asking earlier. So I don't
So
know
if
I should do.
you can do just a quick matrix search on the names just in general, and then do an in-depth one later, or we can start with straight up with the in-depth ones. It's up to you on.
Let's go for the general for now. See what we
Okay.
can learn.
A couple of quick things you'll find out is Judy Hamilton did a bunch of special effects works. I'm sorry, I spaced on it. For Trid series. Worked for a couple of different reality TV shows doing, we'll call it embellishment. You know, like your whatever version of Survivor they're on in 60 years in the future, that kind of thing. Outdoorsy reality TV. Not as anybody of like, oh my god, this person is great, but is a special effects magician. What do I need to roll against you, Monday?
I'm rolling against it. It's 12d6.
Thank you, sir.
I figured I would save you some trouble.
I appreciate that. Marlon Brown did kind of worked out of a like one of those upscale-y fitness gyms. Nothing really remarkable about him. You do get a picture that I will note on there, and you'll be able to get a picture of Judy after a little bit of time because she was involved with TV. Nothing on Gordon Ray. Nothing on Barton Williams. And then there was some information you got from a Charles Thomas involving a humanitarian outreach type organization in the Redwood Barrens that he was a couple of months ago seen doing things with. It is run by a guy by the name of Father Mercy. And I suppose you can have a picture of him too. So, yep, looks like you
Can you put a P beside the ones we have the pictures of?
Sure. Nice big bolded P.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so those will be the easy ones. So yeah, we're right next to Charles Thomas, so we should go ahead and handle that.
I don't know if you saw my text. I do have a cellular glove molder already, if that's exactly what you were looking for.
Oh, I got one now. But well, I'll get one as soon as I pick one up, but oh, we handy. All right, so are we going to go take care of this Thomas first, or we can go after other ones?
I think that's
I
a
mean, the
good
ones
idea.
with the photographs will be the fastest.
Well, if he lives in Touristville, then it's not actually that far. Yeah. If he's
Alright.
like deep in the Barrens, maybe someone goes and gets their assault cannon.
I can't imagine that going super well.
Probably not, but who knows?
All right. Well, does anybody need a ride?
Good.
We all have bikes, but I'd much rather ride with someone else if they have a car.
Oh,
I do.
I apparently spelled this one wrong. It's not Gordon, it's Gordon with an M.
As long as it's not Gordo, we're fine.
It is
That's
not a
right.
Mr.
Sure.
It is not a Mr. Crunch. You are safe from that.
That is good news.
So
I'm
do I
up going
do
after
my search for
Thomas.
Gordon?
I'm sorry?
Do I need to redo my search for Gordon?
No.
No.
I don't think that's what he meant.
Judy Hamilton and Marlon Brown might have been silly enough to stay in contact with each other.
Well, that would be even easier. So I
Well,
will take
okay.
the briefcase if nobody else is taking it and head to my car.
I'm going to flash that picture of Charles Thomas at the bartender on the way out.
Sure. He is gonna look it up and down. Mostly down because it's, a dwarf. He's gonna shake his head. Sorry, partner.
Well, thanks anyway.
He will,
Yep, so I'll ride with Monday if Monday's driving a vehicle, like a car. I mean,
She has a car.
excellent.
super helpful to have, right?
They are very, very handy to not get soaked on the way to a run.
Or, to be not driving a Dodge Scoot.
Oh, man. The day is coming soon. The day is coming soon.
Hopefully. So,
The AmeriCar has a 2-body trunk, so it's well worth the investment. But anyway,
It's number one on my wish list.
what's your plan of action, guys?
well, he's at Father Mercy's, right? So I
That is
guess
where
we're
he
just gonna
was
go over there.
seen doing some charity Horizon work a couple of months ago.
No, it's a good place to start.
Agreed.
So
Is
unless
Father Mercy's charity work well known enough in Seattle that we might just have a chance of having already heard of it?
So he is actually one of the hub contacts. So
Right, yeah. I mean, I've seen his name at Runner Hub, the contact
Yeah.
list, but
but yeah, no, you guys will totally be able to. At the very least, the matrix search that you guys got earlier is going to reveal where he is.
so we know where we're going then. Cool.
Yeah. So you guys will be able to pull up. It is kind of like a converted, I don't want to say warehouse, but old corporate lot type thing where there's a lot of buildings that have, in the years since Redmond has become the Redmond that we know and love, been converted into some dormitory type housing. There is a huge swath of people here of all sorts of different metatypes. Most of them seem kind of on the downer side. Children all run around and be playing. It's the middle of the afternoon. They're wearing not quite weather appropriate clothing. They're wearing, what they can get. And you guys just gonna roll on in?
Well, if anyone else in the group here has been around this area, maybe they know how to roll in rather than just rolling in.
plan to just pull up and park the car. At least that's what Monday's planning. So I guess Register's stuck with it.
Yeah, as far as your approach, yeah.
Tizzit does the same thing. He's not too worried about pulling up at this area.
And is
Well,
Reaper riding with somebody or is Reaper on his own?
No, I'm following with my bike.
Okay. So a small convoy of criminally intensive people pull up outside of this small
What you're talking about?
This is kind of what I was worried about, but hey.
Oh.
maybe-
So as he is a hub contact, he has taken very large donations from very criminal people, including donations of, people. being dropped off to. He's like, yep, we found this one in the Ache, or this one we found in New York Underground. Here you go.
So this kind of thing actually happens more often than not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not exactly a unusual circumstance for them. And a couple of the little kids and the teenagers will kind of crowd around because, you're the new people and it's something different and exciting in their lives.
Mhm.
As you guys push past them, somebody is going to have a comlink and we'll call Father Mercy, who is an older human gentleman, late 50s, early 60s kind of thing. Not actually a priest. He is not wearing anything that is religiously ornate. It's just kind of one of those things you get stuck with, and they will ask if they can bring you into their into his sort of office, which may have been like a principal's office type thing 30 to 50 years ago. But he'll motion for you guys if you want to sit down and have a seat.
Money, I'll take one.
There's like one and then like a troll-sized stool, and that's really about all there is for seating in this small room.
I'll stand.
Yeah, I'm not uncomfortable standing.
Register though, can you roll a perception test?
Roger.
As I remember a thing that's on your sheet.
Looking in AR, is there any comlink visible in the room besides my partners? I mean, I'm looking for Father Mercy's comlink.
There is. He has a comlink. You have seen a couple of other comlinks of varying degrees of not shittiness in the area. Knowing that this place has some shadow connections, it's possible that runners are laying low here, or certain people that runners know and have dropped off. They have given comlinks to, that kind of thing.
As a note, I have a feed from my sensors going on my comlink.
Sure, so nobody messes with your car.
Yeah, not for long.
So, Register, this place is not exactly the cleanest. You have definitely seen some creepy crawlies creeping around,
Ooh, yikes.
so you can enjoy that. How can I help you find folks this afternoon?
Father Mercy, we're looking for an individual that may have stopped by here and offered some help to your charity, and we were hoping that maybe you could give us some information on finding them.
He's gonna raise a little bit of an eyebrow and is like, so I tend to not give out personal information of people who are staying here. Most come here are looking to hide.
Well, this is not somebody that is staying with you, as I understand it. I believe they were here helping out your organization. And I'm going to show him the picture of our dwarf. And I'm going to watch his reaction intently
Sure.
to see.
You can roll dice to watch as intently.
All right. So it's going to be judge intentions unless he's actually lying to me.
No, yeah, you can roll that first and we'll see what happens.
All right. I'm comfortable with that level of success.
That's fine. You want to know Father Mercy's comlink rating?
Yeah.
Let me take a quick look here. I want to say it's actually pretty good. It is a 3. You got a couple of extra hits. It's a MCT Blue Defender, the high firewall guy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay.
Almost as if he's surrounded by criminals and wants protection. So he's gonna take the digital picture into his AR and he's gonna look at it and he's gonna kind of lean back a little bit. He's like, yeah, I remember this guy. He came in here throwing around a lot of corporate speak, offering a bunch of donations. They wanted to use basically the facility to push some kind of corporate propaganda. As I'm sure you folks are well aware of, that's not exactly the kind of interest we like around here.
Yes, I understand you like to stay independent.
Incognito is also the way we like to stay. The
Register looks like he's about to say something, but then he kind of starts and looks at something on the floor, crawling past his foot, and he has to just move away. And he forgets to say what he was going to say.
poor guy. The he moved on from here. He made some mention about wanting to talk to some gang members. He'll kind of have a small smile as he looks around to the rest of the room. Is there something more in depth that you were looking to get, or?
No, we just need to speak with him. So, do you happen to know which gangers he was wanting to speak with? That could possibly give us a way of getting in contact with him.
He did make some mention of where he wanted to go, and he'll kind of look you guys over a little bit.
We're of course willing to make donations for your people, given the assistance that you're giving us today.
Oh, good. That saves me the awkward conversation that I was about to try and find the words to start.
I'm there to help you.
And he will beam a large smile. He made mention of wanting to contact the 162s.
I nod.
Went for the, let's call it the double whammy of the gangers plus the disfigured. Anybody who would like can totally roll gang knowledge or really anything else. I'm one of those guys that if you guys want to roll something, just go ahead and roll it, and we'll see what shakes loose. Reaper, you know that they are totally an all-ghoul gang. So you can infer from his mention of disfigured that he means HMHVB.
So basically, our target is a ghoul.
Maybe. That's where he was last known to be heading.
So he could be a ghoul now, you mean?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I will slide him over 1,000 yen for his assistance.
He will give you a large smile and a thank you for it.
Mm-hmm. Now nod. Well, 162 is as good enough lead as any. And she says, "Well, thank you very much, Father Mercy. We'll be leaving now. Appreciate the good work that you do here."
He will nod. It's like there are a great many who will appreciate the contributions that you have made.
With the result I had, do I know who I would need, who somebody would contact at the 162s if they were looking to get in touch with them?
You would know their general turf and such. Contacting a specific person, I don't know if you would really get like Steve the Ghoul, you know.
Dave.
The recruiter.
Right. They have a very interesting recruitment policy. Are you a ghoul? Come on. But you know, it's one of those things. Being a ganger yourself, you know, somebody rolls into your territory, it very quickly becomes a. All
Let's
right.
get to know this person.
Let us go introduce ourselves in a potentially physical way.
Do they have anything against the reality hackers?
Not to my knowledge. You guys may taste funny because you have all that, you know, crunchy cyberware in you for your decking and stuff, but you know, you probably go down just the same. Maybe a little harder to digest.
Oh, snap.
Just didn't want to wander in enemy territory.
You're not aware of any like out and out hostilities between your two organizations right now.
All right.
So you probably okay with, you know, you will get extra hard looks rolling up there in colors, but you're not going to get shot on sight.
Good. So I don't think just rolling in on their turf is going to get us to our target easy.
Well, that's good. At least I'm not looking forward to be consumed.
Well, how deep Redmond is their turf? Is it the kind of place where we could not at all potentially just call someone and say we were coming? Like, hey, this is a chance for us to throw you a couple hundred knee in.
You guys could probably get connected to somebody who knows somebody in the gang if you wanted to give them a preemptive heads up, as opposed to just rolling in.
Well, if we're like, if Reaper is the kind of gang member who's willing to say, hey, I know how this thing rolls, like I know how it goes. This is how we should approach a big group like this. Maybe we would know that, or maybe some of the other runners would, but Register probably would have no idea.
Reaper would totally have an idea on, like, he could get one of his bosses to talk to somebody else who would then talk to somebody else.
If we're going to be heading deep into Redmond, though, we need to take a little bit of time and get our gear together before we
Yeah, for sure, right?
go do this.
Redmond, that's a high-end place, right? Oh no, it's the
No.
Barrett.
Yeah,
Yeah, Redmond is ZZZ territory, right?
It is the we'll come by eventually.
Maybe.
Well, if there's enough explosions and other large incentives.
Jizzle will look a little abashed when picking up gear is mentioned.
Woohoo!
Horus has all of the APDS for you.
Apparently so.
But
Makes up for, like, screwed me last time.
as we've been going for about an hour now, I'm going to hit the
Pause button.
hit the pause button, go get a drink, potty, whatever it is you guys got to do.
Roger
Sounds
that.
great.
Be right back.
Use this fancy stop recording button.